Hey everyone, it's Murray Fife here. I just thought I'd create a quick video to follow up on something that I showed earlier on the week, and that was how to download a the virtual machine hard drive from Lifecycle Services so that you can go out and use it locally. But I thought that I'd expand out on this and show how you can go out and configure it. So if you haven't seen the other video, what I'm doing is I'm talking about inside of Lifecycle Services. Then you can download the VHD files that you can run locally using Hyper-V. So they're all here within Lifecycle Services, and you can see that there's some files here that we can manage. Now, when you go out and have those files, then they end up being an executable and a number of raw zip files. So if you actually click on, after you've downloaded them, if you click on it, then you can uh, open this up and you can accept the terms, and then you can export this and extract it down to your hard drive. So I've actually done that. And what happens is you end up with this VHD file here. So the trick now is how do you go out and turn this into a local virtual machine that you can take advantage of? So what you do is you do that here through the Hyper-V manager. And what you do is you can say, I want to create a new virtual machine, and we're going to point it to the hard drive that we have. So I'm going to call this fin ops 10.039 test, and I'm going to store this in a different location from where I normally put it. So I'm going to put it here in the virtual machines, actually on my C drive inside the virtual machines in this test area. So that's where that's where I extracted the folder out to. Then I'm going to say what generation of machine I want to create a first generation. Then we're going to assign some memory. So I'm going to give it a little bit of memory here. I'm not going to use dynamic memory. I want it to be configured. And then I'm going to go out and connect this to my Ethernet switch. Now I'm going to say I'm going to use an existing hard drive, and I'm going to browse to that hard drive that was just extracted. So if I choose that and go next, then what that's going to do is that's going to create my virtual machine for me. And right now it's turned off. So I can just double click on this, and then it's going to start up the virtual machine here, and I can go start. So this is now booting up the virtual machine, the test virtual machine that I have using my local laptop memory and using Hyper-V. So this is all you really need to do in order to go out and take that file and configure it and bring it directly into the application. So we're going to connect, and let's go full screen here, and it's going to get me to log in, and I will type in the password. The password is going to be on the website, so I won't actually tell everyone that, but you can go and research that. It's not that that hard to find where that file is. And within just a couple of seconds, so it's only taken us a minute or so, then we've gone out and we've got our virtual machine up and running. So now if we go out, then we right now try to run Dynamics, and it's not quite configured. What we need to do is we need to authenticate this. So there's two more steps that we need to perform. And the first one is that we need to go into our Azure tenant. So this is my Five Consulting tenant. And what we need to do is we need to go and create an app registration. We don't need to do anything with this app registration necessarily, except we need to have these two redirects defined against the app registration. So if you're not an AD expert, then you may need to get some help with this, but it's pretty straightforward to do. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy this app registration client ID, and then we're going to go back to our virtual machine that we're running. So there's a item here which is generate a self-signed certificate. So we're going to run this but we're going to run the script as an administrator. This is really important, otherwise things aren't going to work. And it's going to ask us for that application that we just copied from Azure, and now it's going to go and run in the background, and it's going to create the required certificates that we've got here in the system. So this is now running. It's going to run just for a couple of seconds or so, depending on how much memory you've got on your machine. And then it's going to go out and start and stop some of the services. So while that's happening in the background, what I'm going to do is there's another step, which is we need to tell it who the administration username is. So what we do is on the machine, if we go into the base machine while that's running, go to AOS server and the packaged local directory, and then go down and find the bin folder. Then there's another file here which is called a user provisioning tool. So this is the tool that we use to tell it what username we want to use for the application. So it's running in the background, and in a second it's going to finish. It's just restarting some of the services for us, and we can see that running. So that's finished. I'm going to run this user administration provisioning as well, and I'm running this as the administrator within the system. And all it does is it pops up a screen that says, what is the username that you want to use? So I'm going to say this is Murray at 5consultingservices.com. If anyone wants to contact me, then that's my email, and then I'm going to submit it. So this is going to go back, and it's going back to the SQL database. It's using the administrator account, and then it's configuring everything for us. Now, while that's going, so we'll go back here just to the redirect URLs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this base URL. So this is the base URL for Dynamics as one box. So let's minimize that. We'll wait for this to complete its process as it's sort of running through. And then within just a minute, then this is going to finish and everything's going to be provisioned. One thing you'll notice on this is saying that I've got 100 or so days left on this machine. So this machine does expire, or the virtual machine does expire, but there's an option that you can rearm this, and I think you can rearm it up to 4 or 6 times every 6 months. So you're not, you can use this for quite a while within the system. It's not, you could probably get around about 3 years worth of use out of this virtual machine if you wanted to stick with the current version, or if you went and upgraded the database over and over. But what I do is I go out and periodically, I just go out and download the new version of the virtual machine, because we'll have any new additions that we may need running in the background for this. So let's just wait a little bit longer for this to complete. And then what we can do is, so this has successfully completed. Now what we can do is we can go into the browser, and I'm going to start this. Let's a new window here that we can access. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell it I want to go to the one box. It's going to ask me to sign in. It's going to ask me to log in. And I've got two-factor authentication on my account, which is a good idea for anyone who has Active Directory accounts. And then I'm going to stay in. And now I'm logging into Dynamics for the first time on this virtual machine. And what we'll see is I've got all access to pretty much everything that was available in this case in the 10.0.39 environment. So one thing I don't have is I won't have access to the Power Apps items, but I do have full access to all of the functionality that is based around the ERP from a functional standpoint. So I could go in, I could work with customers. I can also go and change the companies that are here. So I'm in debt, so I'm going to go to USMF, and I've got full reign of this. So this is a great machine that you can use to learn from. For Dynamics, it's also great. It's the base system that if you just need to do demonstrations of the core functionality, then this is a great option too. So hope that was useful. If anyone has any questions, then you can contact me, Murray at fiveconsultingservices.com, track me down on LinkedIn, or comment wherever you want. So I hope this was useful, and have a great day, everyone.